Good afternoon. My name's Adam Steele, Associate Superintendent for SAU number 39. I'll be taking over as Superintendent on July 1st, and I've decided to record my presentation regarding security at Souhegan High School to make sure that my presentation is accessible for folks who didn't make it to the board meeting tonight, or for in the future is something that we can refer back to. For me, security in schools, in my perspective, changed going back to 1999 in April with what happened in Columbine. As a younger person, I'd never thought through the risks associated with a school setting, and that day forever changed my perspective. And I remember that because just in speaking to a student yesterday at Souhegan, this student mentioned how her perspective was changed a few months ago with what happened in Parkland in Florida. A couple of my cousins attended that school and can relate to what happened there and what happened in that school. And so for all of us, as the world has changed, so too must our schools. And I'm sure that even the folks that founded Souhegan High School would tell us if they could today that we need to be thinking about school in a different way and how we secure our schools. And so tonight is really about describing our path forward with what we're going to do at Souhegan High School. As many folks know, we've spent the last few months examining school security with community council, the school board, the administration, and through hiring Safe Havens International out of Georgia. Safe Havens is a company that's been all over the country working as a nonprofit to help schools make good choices when it comes to security. In fact, they've been called in on several incidents after the fact to help schools address security, including places that many of us have heard about in the news. They've done a good job coming here, understanding our culture, and making good recommendations for us on how we move forward. What we need to do at Souhegan High School is improve safety and security while enhancing the culture of the building and not taking away from it. What I mean by that is the culture at Souhegan is very important to all of us, and we don't want to change the look and feel of the building to the point where we take away from who we are as a school. Instead, we want to build a culture of safety and a culture of security in our school. Souhegan's built on a culture of respect, trust, and courage, and on 6 key values that define what we do in the school. Yet I want to read a quote from Safe Havens International. "These values and core principles alone will not protect Souhegan High School students and staff from the threats that affect every school in the nation. What is needed is a true culture of safety, extending rather than compromising Souhegan High School's values and principles. Such a true culture of safety should be built on the following 7 prime objectives. Number 1, continuously improving safety, security, and emergency management. Number 2, recognizing and resolving all concerns affecting the safety and well-being of stakeholders. Number 3, ensuring staff competence in any emergency. Number 4, reinforcing a sense of safeness and well-being throughout the site and building design elements. Number 5, enforcing access to and from defined public, shared, and private zones. Number 6, enhancing situational awareness and emergency communications. And 7, hardening critical building elements that cannot be protected by other means." For schools to be successful, they have to feel inherently safe for parents to send their kids to school, for staff to teach students, and ultimately for students. A lot of what we do as educators is unlock the barriers to learning for our students to get them into a place emotionally, socially, and mentally where they are available for learning. Put simply, a student who feels unsafe is not going to learn effectively. One of our responsibilities as a school system is to strike the balance between safety and culture, between thorough preparation while not instilling anxiety about what could happen, and between appropriate investment in physical safety without creating fortification unnecessarily. So looking through the Safe Havens report, what we were provided was a 55-page, very thorough and exhaustive plan that describes not only areas that we're doing well, but areas of deficiency and how to address those things. It should be noted that several mass casualty incidents in schools have involved pre-planning on behalf of bad actors, people who had researched and planned out attacks against schools by getting a hold of their plans and using those plans against them. For example, it may not be widely known, but in Sandy Hook, I'm told that the bad actor there used about 7 years of planning to prepare for that attack, used the state's own manual about how to respond to active shooter situations, and also the school's emergency operations plan against them in carrying out that attack. So we have to be careful that we don't disclose not only all of our perceived vulnerabilities, but sometimes even the direct steps we're going to take to address those. And so our plan is to share as much as we can with the public, but also to make sure that we're not giving a potential bad actor a blueprint about things to take advantage and to exploit in our school system. So here are some of the things we are going to do. I'm immediately going to be directing both Rob and Kelly to develop a threat assessment and management process, where when threats are identified or when concerns are brought forward by stakeholders, there's a process to resolve those things in a way where things don't slip through the cracks and where legitimate concerns are given the attention that they're due. Next, I'm going to direct Porter Dodge as our incoming Director of Operations to take over the responsibility of coordinating the steps outlined in the Safe Havens report starting July 1st from a facilities, procurement, and training perspective. This is right in Porter's wheelhouse, and he's going to do a great job for us, ensuring that we follow up and take all the steps in order the way that they need to be carried out. Next, we're immediately going to issue an RFP to procure the necessary technology items and ask the board for authorization to move forward with the expenditure associated with them. Here are some of those things. We need an updated radio system that can tie all of our schools and the SAU together, along with interfaces for the police and fire departments in our two towns, and that's going to require some investment in the radio infrastructure at Souhegan High School. Next, we're going to move forward with a tip reporting tool that can be an app installed on phones that students and staff have access to both anonymously and directly report threats or potential concerns that we might have. Next, we're going to move our communication platform from OneCallNow to Nixle. Nixle is a communications platform that allows users to manage their own alerts and decide what kind of alerts they want to have, what they want to receive, and which ones they don't. That's going to extend for us great capability in our ability to communicate with folks both during an emergency situation and afterwards. Next, we need to purchase and have a centralized technology solution that unifies all of the things that will be used for surveillance and various technology tools within the building. For example, all of our door locks need to be connected to the same system that can initiate an emergency response in our building, notify the police department, and or be used in carrying out a lockdown drill. Those systems exist today and have come a long way in unifying the different sensors and systems that we have, and we need to build that infrastructure right away before anything else can take place in our schools. And we also need to improve our exterior lighting. Our lighting needs to be improved outside to make it feel more safe. All of those things have some costs associated with them, and we'll be looking for the board to approve those expenditures right away. The next thing we need to do is prepare a migration to the 7 emergency response actions approved at the state level and update our lockdown procedures to be rolled out over the summer and into the next school year. Something I've heard from staff in particular is the desire to have a very clearly articulated lockdown plan that maybe is a little different from the traditional lockdown plan. And we need to roll that out over the summer and into this next school year. The final thing I want to mention about what needs to happen right away is school board policy indicates that the superintendent is responsible for the placement of cameras both outside and inside the building after consultation with the school board and community council. And so I'm going to ask the community council to give me their best advice about the locations of cameras, where they think that cameras should be both outside and inside the building, and also the school board for that guidance. But I want to be clear that I'm not going to disclose when we plan to install cameras on the site, nor where they're going to be installed, for the same reasons I illustrated earlier. We don't want to give a blueprint of our vulnerabilities or potential plans regarding that space. But I can tell you that cameras are coming to Souhegan High School, both outside the building and inside the building. We need them for a variety of reasons, and I'm convinced, even more so after events over the last few months, that it's a necessary thing that will not take away from the culture of the school. So by next year at this time, we should have the following 8 things done. We should know our 7 emergency response actions and have drilled each of them. We should have a radio system in place that connects us to all of our schools and the various life safety agencies. We should have a system in place that coordinates our technology, including the beginning of video surveillance in our high school. We should have a threat assessment and management process that allows students, staff, and parents to report threats. We should have improved exterior lighting, and site issues as identified in the plan should be upgraded. We should have an updated lockdown procedure in place. And we should have a plan in place for the following 2 years to improve our drills, improve our training, and to improve reporting, etc. And by next year at this time, you can be rest assured that we'll be in the implementation phase regarding video surveillance. So I know that not everything that I've talked about is going to be greeted with complete agreement from all sides. However, I feel strongly that it's the superintendent's responsibility to carry out processes and procedures that secure our campus and secure our school. And while I've been tremendously impressed by the work of Kelly Driscoll in being the point person on this project, Porter Dodge in providing his input even though he's not officially on board at the SAU level yet, and Rob in providing his guidance throughout this process, I want to really call attention to the Community Council. Those folks have spent a year developing, discussing, debating, researching, and writing their plans and recommendations for us as we move forward. And as you've already heard from them tonight, and if you think about it, their recommendations all align with things that exist inside the Safe Havens report. There's one area of disagreement, and that's interior video cameras. But everything else, we're in complete agreement. And those folks on the Community Council, and specifically the Security Subcommittee, should be applauded for their work because they've done a tremendous job understanding and advocating both for the culture of the school and for the right steps forward to make sure that we do what we need to do to secure our campus. So tonight, what I'm bringing forward both to the board and to the public is a plan for us to move forward and to develop a extremely safe and safety focused school where students feel safe, teachers feel safe, and parents feel comfortable sending their kids to our school. We're going to do what it takes. We're going to improve and become the best we can be regarding school safety. All of that within the culture of building our sense of culture drives safety, and safety comes from our culture. So with that, I look forward to anyone from the community who has questions or input for me as we move forward to provide that to me via email or by giving me a phone call. I'd be glad to make the publicly available portions of the report available to anyone who requests those by giving me a call or shooting me an email. And I really thank the community and the school board for bringing this issue to our focus. It really is going to be a focus of our attention over the next year, and I'm looking forward to reporting back over the next several months about how we've improved and made a difference in our school, all while extending our culture and not taking away from it. Thank you very much for your time and for your attention this evening.